Katara vs Zuko. Who wins between these two powerful benders if they were to face off in a full-scale battle? Well, that is the battle I have for y'all today. Like, share, and subscribe. As always, comment down below with any thoughts you have about this video. Now, before getting right into the video, let me just state that I'm only going to be using these two characters from the 3 seasons of Avatar The Last Airbender on Nickelodeon, not Legend of Korra or anything like that, just the 3 seasons. Now let's get into it, starting with their physical attributes, starting with physical strength. Well, I'll have to go on Zuko's side and say that he's probably physically superior to Katara. I mean, he was trained, so he probably should be physically superior to Katara. He should also be faster and more durable and a better martial artist than Katara, which is not really looking good for Katara. See, Zuko is not necessarily faster by a large margin, because for the most part in their different encounters and battles they've actually had, Katara is able to keep up with his levels of speed, and she can obviously keep up with other characters like Azula and stuff like that. So I think to some extent they are more or less relative in terms of speed, but I'd prefer to slightly lean towards Zuko, and I'd also lean towards Zuko in terms of durability and their combat skills. I think Zuko has simply tanked a bit more attacks than Katara, so I'll lean towards him just because of that. And in terms of combat skills, well, given that he is a firebender, they are naturally trained in hand-to-hand combat to assist with firebending. I'll say that Zuko should be a better martial artist than Katara. So that does kind of mean that in terms of strength, speed, durability, and hand-to-hand combat, Zuko is kind of superior. But then you have to start talking about their power, and I think this is the biggest and most effective factor to consider. You see, Zuko obviously has his firebending. His firebending is insanely powerful, and he can use it in a variety of different ways that have allowed him to be one of the greatest firebenders throughout the entirety of the Avatar world. But Katara, without being trained, was not a great waterbender. That's obvious. But the moment she got a master, she was trained even for a short period of time, a couple days, she became one of the best waterbenders throughout the entirety of the Avatar series at the level of waterbending masters, and even for a moment was able to overpower and kind of defeat Zuko. This is her still kind of learning waterbending, and she was able to actually do that. And we did see her actually kind of defeat Azula whilst in Ba Sing Se, which is absolutely insane, given that Azula at the time was implied to be greater than Zuko in terms of firebending or in terms of power in general. She was implied to be greater than Zuko, and Katara, with a dissonant with the little river on the side, was able to actually overwhelm and defeat Azula at that time. And again, she did not have as much experience and training as Zuko, and she was able to do that. And in general, Katara has such a large arsenal, being able to attack in so many different ways with just general waterbending, and then turn her waterbending into ice, and then attack in a variety of different ways with her ice, and then even draw water from anything, including her literal sweat, and use it as a weapon, which is interesting and cool. And then she obviously has the kind of OP ability known as bloodbending. Now, I'm not actually going to use bloodbending for this battle, given that if I'm going to use bloodbending, I have to also kind of use Zuko at his best, which is him whilst empowered by Susan's Comet. And obviously, if we're actually going to use that, I'll go on Katara's side and say that she obviously should win the battle, because bloodbending is kind of OP, and she should most definitely and most likely defeat Zuko regardless of him being empowered by Susan's Comet. But I'm not actually going to use Katara having bloodbending and being empowered by the moon, and I'm not going to use Zuko being empowered by Susan's Comet. I'm just going to use them on the regular. And on the regular, Katara just has a larger arsenal and so many different ways of attacking Zuko than Zuko has of attacking her. So, who do I actually believe wins this battle if these two powerful characters are to face off in a full-scale battle? Well, I'll be honest, I think Katara should actually win the battle. Now, I understand that Zuko is stronger, faster, a better martial artist, and more durable than Katara, but as I've already stated, it was shown that Katara, with just a decent amount of water, like that little river she had in Ba Sing Se, was able to kind of defeat Azula, someone implied to be better than Zuko in terms of firebending at that time. So if Katara does have this bit of water when she's fighting against Zuko, she should be able to still defeat Zuko as well. And in general, Katara just has such a large arsenal. And though, again, Zuko is superior to her in all those previous aspects I mentioned earlier, it's not like it's by a large margin. She can most definitely keep up with these levels of speed, as we have seen her actually keep up with these levels of speed before. And by the end of the series, though they've both advanced and learned a few more abilities and a few more ways of attacking, Katara has just advanced, in my opinion, a bit more than Zuko. And in general, even before this, she could have been considered a bit better than Zuko. To some extent, you couldn't say that Katara is a prodigy. So though Zuko is powerful and can give a really good fight to Katara, I prefer to lean towards Katara being able to actually defeat Zuko if she has this amount of water, or even less than this amount of water by her side. Now, I'm sure many people are going to have a lot of comments and thoughts about this. It's completely understandable. If y'all do, please leave them down below. This is MC Info with another MC Clash. I'm out.